Dear students, I am Dr. Vibhu Trivedi, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemical Engineering, Meerut Institute of Engineering and Technology. And the topic of this video lecture is Fuel Cell Part 2. So, in the first part, we talked about definition of fuel cell and its basic working principle, taking the example of hydrox or H2O2 cell. And we also mentioned in that video that several types of fuel cells are available. So let's see its different types. So types of fuel cells differ primarily by the type of electrolyte they employ. The type of electrolyte in turn determines the operating temperature, which varies widely between types. So the main classification of our fuel cells is based on the electrolyte which is used, and electrolytes allow different temperature ranges that can be attained in such fuel cells. So the differentiation of fuel cells can be on two bases. First is on the basis of electrolyte, and second is on the basis of temperature. So if we talk about the first category, that is high temperature fuel cells, they operate at greater than 600 degrees Celsius temperature. These high temperatures permit the spontaneous internal reforming of light hydrocarbon fuels such as methane into hydrogen and carbon in the presence of water. The most prominent type of high temperature fuel cells are given next, which are divided on the basis of their electrolytes. So first is molten carbonate fuel cell. So in this, an electrolyte is used which conducts carbonate ions from the cathode to the anode. So this is the opposite of many other types of fuel cells which conduct hydrogen ions from anode to cathode. The electrolyte in such cell is composed of a molten mixture of lithium and potassium carbonates. So next type of high temperature fuel cell is solid oxide fuel cell. Again, in this cell, an electrolyte is used which conducts oxide ions from cathode to the anode. This is again opposite to the common types of fuel cells which conduct hydrogen ions from anode to cathode. And in this cell, the electrolyte is composed of a solid oxide, usually zirconia, which is stabilized with other rare earth element oxides like yttrium and takes the form of a ceramic. So we can see that in both these type of cells, different types of electrolytes are used. Third type of high temperature fuel cell is there are only uh, mainly two types of high temperature fuel cells. So next category is low temperature fuel cells. They typically operate below 250 degrees Celsius. These low temperatures do not permit in an internal reforming and therefore require an external source of hydrogen. On the other hand, they exhibit quick startup, suffer fewer material problems, and are easier to handle in vehicle applications. So there are some advantages of high temperature fuel cells, and there are some advantages of low temperature fuel cells as well. And if we talk about further types of low temperature fuel cell, then first is alkaline fuel cell. So in these type of cells, the electrolyte conducts hydroxyl ions from cathode to the anode. Again, it is opposite from the common fuel cells that conduct hydrogen ions from anode to the cathode. In this, the electrolyte is typically composed of a molten alkaline mixture such as potassium hydroxide. The electrolyte can be mobile or immobile. So here an alkaline mixture is used as electrolytes, therefore they are named as alkaline fuel cell. Next type is phosphoric acid fuel cell. In these, the electrolyte conducts hydrogen ions from the anode to the cathode. According to its name, the electrolyte is composed of liquid phosphoric acid within a silicon carbide matrix material. Some acid fuel cells use a sulfuric acid electrolyte. So, in place of phosphoric acid, in some cells, sulfuric acid is used. Third type is proton exchange membrane or solid polymer fuel cell. In this, the electrolyte conducts hydrogen ions from the anode to the cathode, and the electrolyte is composed of a solid polymer film that consists of a form of acidified Teflon. So here we learned that first we categorized our fuel cells on on the basis of temperature, and then on the basis of different types of electrolytes, and we have given the brief introduction of all types of these cells. Now if we talk about the potential applications of fuel cells in detail, then first is fuel cells can be effectively used for load leveling. When the generation exceeds the demand, excess generated energy can be converted and stored as hydrogen by electrolysis of water. During peak load time, when the demand exceeds the generation, the stored hydrogen would be used in fuel cells to meet additional demand. So, in other words, we can conserve power uh, generated by conventional methods to use it later in the form of fuel cells. Second is a central station power plant using fuel cell is also possible, in which gasified coal is used as a fuel. The efficiency of such a plant would be higher due to direct energy conversion as compared to conventional thermal plants. The coal will be used more efficiently with reduced emissions. Third, fuel cells are also suited for dispersed generation. By locating the fuel cells near the load center, transmission and distribution cost would be avoided or reduced, although there would be some cost for transporting the hydrogen. So, by constructing fuel cell based electricity plants or stations at the areas near the areas of demand, we can reduce the transmission and distribution costs and losses. Fourth is to meet the demand of isolated sites such as construction sites or military camps or a small village which are very remote from the urban centers. We can use fuel cells in place of diesel generators, which will also cause less pollution. Fifth is for remote and inaccessible locations. Again, the similar type of uh, argument is given here. Point 6, fuel cells can also be used as a mobile power source in vehicles, submarines, and spacecrafts. So, vehicle uses of fuel cell are getting explored quite frequently by different automobile manufacturers. And for example, it is given that a hydrogen oxygen alkaline fuel cell is used successfully in USA to provide electric power in shuttle spacecraft such as Apollo. Fuel cells are also proposed as a power source for propulsion of electric vehicles. Seventh point is fuel cells can be used to power portable electronic device such as mobile phones and other low power appliances as substitute for primary or rechargeable batteries. Instead of waiting for several hours of recharging, a small cartridge of methanol can be replaced in the same way as an ink cartridge in a computer print. So it is also a proposed use of fuel cell in which in place of rechargeable lithium ion or other type of batteries, fuel cells can be used where the fuel, instead of charging, the fuel can be renewed in the form of cartridges. However, The use of fuel cells is in very early stage, and day by day different achievements are taking place in this field. Now if we talk about advantages of fuel cell, then we know that it gives very high conversion efficiency, because chemical energy is directly converted to electrical energy, and the conversion efficiency is of the order of 70%. Now fuel cells can be installed near the use points, that we have also discussed in the application part. They have few mechanical components, hence they operate fairly quietly and require little attention and less maintenance. So there are not much moving parts or mechanical parts in the fuel cells, and so therefore their operation and maintenance is very low, and also they don't make much noise. Fourth one is atmospheric pollution is small if the primary energy source is hydrogen. The only waste product is water. If the source is a hydrocarbon, carbon dioxide is also produced. Nitrogen oxide, etc., which are produced in case of fossil fuels, are not generated in the fuel cell, which is the main advantage of this energy, that this is also a clean form of energy. There is no requirement for large volumes of cooling water such as necessary to condense exhaust system from a turbine in conventional power plant. As fuel cells do not make noise, they can be readily accepted in residential areas. The fuel cells can take little time to go into operation. The space requirement for fuel cell power plant is considerably less as compared to conventional power plants. So these are many advantages of fuel cell. And if we talk about few disadvantages, then first is obviously the storage of hydrogen, because it is very highly inflammable. Although metal hydrides and ammonia can be alternatively used. Next disadvantage is that the catalyst mostly used is platinum, which is a very high cost metal. So this increases the cost of our fuel cell. So in this video, we have covered the types of fuel cells, their applications, advantages and disadvantages, and now the topic of fuel cell is completed in both these videos. Thank you.